Good morning, all. Yeah, here I am, and over my shoulder is the Gracie cat back there. She's sitting there watching for lizards and things. Well, you know, yesterday I did a video there about dementia, because I have been having some experiences with acquaintances lately in that regard. Sort of brought it to mind. But then, of course, you know, the video, people comment on it. Comments sometimes, you know, they bring up ideas. Here's my cat. She heard me talking. She says, "Uh-oh, Bill's getting busy. Do a video. I can get over here." She's down here eating crabgrass. Yeah. Well, for the most part, very good comments. Thank you. I actually learned a few things. Yeah, people expressed some of their experiences, you know, with this dementia issue, and by and large, it was all pretty positive. But I did have, well, some opposition to the idea that I put forward that there is no such thing as true memory, that memory is erased with every recall, and memory is replaced every time we think it. And so that image of memory being something fixed in crystal that remains, that's not true. Now, this is what we once believed, I think, at a point, that seemed to have been the general observation, and it's still the general consensus, because anytime I talk about this with people, they're going, "What's wrong with you? What do you mean erase my memories? That's my life." Yeah, I think it's kind of ego attached more than anything there, but no. This whole idea actually came to me before I went out and did some research on the subject. This frequently happens. Yes. Happened with COVID in the first week. I looked at it and said, this is messing with people's minds. And when I went out and started researching, you know, in the East, like Taiwan, where it started out there, I find that was just what they were concluding. Same thing in Europe, you know, how does it move towards the U.S.? So periodically I will have, I get information from peculiar intuitive sources that isn't necessarily real, you know. So the question here is, what is truth? It's a lot of talk these days about truth. We got the Trumpster out there with his Truth Social, which I don't get into that. But the only thing I see true is that his stock is plummeting. Not fast enough, though. Yeah, we got a lot of talk about what's true. You know, true is a symptom. Yeah, that's what truth is. Truth is a symptom of another condition. Truth in itself doesn't stand in its own right. Yeah, this has got to be even harder to digest, huh? Truth is a product of belief systems. When you have beliefs, and especially when those beliefs are locked within traditional systems, whether that be governmental, political systems, or be religious, spiritual systems, whatever they are, it doesn't matter. They will dictate what the nature of reality and truth is. Now, in general, most of them are wrong. Yeah, they don't have truth. But I would say the main reason they don't have truth is mostly because of change. Just as soon as you get your hands on something and you think it's real, it's going to flow right through your hands like sand, and it's going to start changing on you. It is the observer affecting the outcome of everything. Double slit experiment with light. Modern science understands these days that they need double blinds and various ways of trying to isolate the scientist from the outcome of the experiment, because what they found out is that the belief of the scientist and that his outcome, what he thinks he's going to get, that often affects the outcome. Yes, it's true. Your thoughts affect the nature of reality here. Science has actually more or less proved that, because they've had to go to real extents to try to get clean data out of their experiments. Everything gets fudged because of human thought, human belief. Yeah, what you think happens. Anyway, this whole thing about belief, which is the source of where truth comes from. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, everything here in this world is hypothetical. There is nothing here that's true. There is nothing here that's real, at least from our point of view. Okay. Yeah. When we begin to describe anything, immediately we're going to fall into a flaw of logic, because we're going to base what we see here on systems of belief, and belief do not necessarily describe reality. They're belief. That's all they are. Yeah, I can believe almost anything, right? And we do. All right. Well, fact is, nobody knows what's going on here. Yeah, you get run into somebody who thinks, oh yeah, I got it all figured out. Run. Okay. Yeah, and so when you get down to belief and you say, this is truth, you're wrong. Because there's nothing here that is true. Everything is subject to change. Everything is subject to influence by the way you think about it. Everything is hypothetical. It is just the best guess, and the best guess until we come up with another best guess. That is how reality works. And best guesses are not truth. Okay? No such thing as truth. Just the best guess. Well, I had stated there that we erase our memories every time we recall them. Now, how I got to this conclusion, it's many years ago now, a long time back, but I had fallen into a lucid dream. And in the dream, I was recalling a street scene from Chicago in 1957 when I was 6 years old. And this dream was very peculiar because it was a split screen. That's why I say it was lucid. One side, I had the memory recalled. And as far as I could see, about perfect. It was a video capture of a street scene in Chicago, viewed when I was, 7 years old, 6 years old or so. On the other side of the split screen was the current me. The dream was lucid. I was watching the dream as it was happening. And I looked at it and I went, oh my goodness. You realize what this means. What it meant to me was every time I recall a memory, when I bring it forward and I see it again, I contaminate it with every view. The reason why is that every view is from a different perspective. If I saw this memory in a dream when I was 50, and I had created the memory when I was 6, the gap in point of view and in a person's reality between being 6 and being 50, it's huge. It's an enormous gap. And when I viewed it with my eyes at 50 years old, I got a completely different scene. That is, a different point of view, different perspective on what I was looking at. The 6-year-old, being naive kid, saw one thing, and it pleased him, it made him happy. The older man saw something else that I didn't think was particularly good. Okay, anyway, as the memory was put back, okay, I have it, I can still see it, it's there. But as the memory was put back, the memory was forever changed. Now, the original memory may or may not have been completely destroyed in the process. This, I can't tell you. I don't know. The reason I can't tell you that is anytime I think of the memory, it's always going to come up tainted, because it's going to come up with the more current one that was moved closer to the front of my brain where where my memory is easier to recover. Recovering memories from when you were 6 years old and recovering them clearly, that's the product of dreams, okay? I mean, you just don't usually in a waking state manage to pull these things up well. You can in a dream, because dreams are illusionary, visual, and but that was where I first came to the realization that no memory is ever true. It is why my mother used to always tell me that my grandfather's stories were full of BS, because he didn't remember everything that happened, and he used to pull them stories up and tell them all the time, and every time he pulled one up and told it, he probably changed it slightly, and my mother, having heard them more than once, noticed the changes as time went on, you see. And this is a normal process. This really doesn't have anything to do with people in dementia, or anything on that order. No, this is just what happens to your memories over time. And, well, we put a lot of stake on memory. We stake memory because memory creates wiring in the brain, and brain wiring is oftentimes how emotion comes about on any different or any certain circumstance. Something happens to us that vaguely resembles something that we remember that was negative. Immediately, the adrenaline flows, the flight and fight thing starts up, and even though it has nothing to do with the current moment, we're living in memory when that happens. And the emotions, which is, again, we're thinking of emotions as being real things. Yes, I'm having an emotional reaction because this is a situation, Well, you're usually having an emotional reaction over something that happened a long time ago. And it just happens to resemble what's going on at the moment. Now, I have this happen around my house quite frequently. Now, sometimes, my speed that I say things, or the accent, I cut words off sometimes. It happens. I start talking real fast, and things come off funny, and so they become misconstrued. Well, rather than asking a question, what did you just say? Click, words, and then, you hurt my feelings. I didn't say that. What are you talking about? Yeah, we react quickly to these emotional cycles that we wire in our brains, and they're based on memory. And one of the ways to help free yourself from emotional hair triggers is to understand that your memories are not real. Even as accurate as they might be, they are only point of perspective. That's all memories ever are. You have a certain point of view, you saw something, and it's like a slice. You got a big pie of reality. Your memory is this little teeny slice of something that, related to you under the certain circumstance, and it may have been completely wrong because you didn't even understand what you were looking at. But yet you filed it, you wired it into your brain, you're working with it in emotional reactions with life, and so what you do is you end up dragging the past into the present constantly. Yeah, and you live everywhere else besides right here now. You ask any good Buddhist monk, what's the secret to reality? It's be here now. Yeah. And you can't be here now when you live in memory. And when you believe that memory is real, you're really in trouble. And if you don't understand that you rewrite your memories all the time, well, you're really in trouble. But this is actually a useful tool. Yeah, rewriting memories can help move you away from trauma. Now, I'm not suggesting one takes a memory and makes a false out of it. If it happened this way, I'm going to lie to myself. And I'm saying, oh, it happened like this. No, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that when something happens in your life, let's say it happened when you were 12 years old, right? Well, maybe you're 40 now, right? You're going to have a different perspective on that. And if you go away from the 12-year-old, who is sobbing in pain from what happened at the time, and begin to think about what does this really mean? Is it possible in a similar situation I could have done the same thing, you know? Or, geez, the people that did this to me died 30 years ago, and I don't even remember their names, and why am I doing this to myself? Because when I bring the memory up and it's painful, all I do is punish myself and the people that I really wish I could beat their heads in over what happened. They're gone. They're out of the picture. Yeah, they have nothing to do with it. I can't remember who they were, but I still remember the hate and the anger, see? Yeah, that sticks. Attitude. Facts, I don't know, well, attitude, oh, you betcha. Yeah, attitude's a strong thing, man. People are good at it. Yeah. Truth has no bearing to attitude either. But yeah, see, this technique of understanding that you can pull memories up, you can rewrite them. If you bring your trauma forward and you analyze it, and maybe you got to go through it more than once, maybe you need help from somebody to go through it, okay? But if you sort through it, look at it, and try to find different angles to view it from. Oftentimes you'll find that there are probably multiple different ways you can look at the same situation. And if you can honestly change your perspective because you adopt one of the true ways, or what seems true anyway, you know, then you can release yourself from the knee-jerk of emotional reactions to your belief systems. Yeah. Dump belief systems. Truth is only a symptom of the belief systems. Move away from feeling that anything in this world is actually true. It's only a best guess, folks. That's all it is. It's only a best guess. And some guesses are better than others. Generally speaking, I tend to rely more on a scientific viewpoint because the scientific viewpoint is movable. Yeah, it's a hypothetical viewpoint based on theories that can be changed. Scientists don't like to change theories, but they can, they will, and things do change over time. And the idea, like, for instance, that, you know, when I was a kid, they told us, oh, nuclear energy was going to solve all of our problems, you know, and plastics, really, man, buy plastics. Yeah, that's what they used to say, things like this. Well, obviously, everything in the world is now full of microplastics. It was a disaster. You know, Fukushima hopefully will be the last nuclear power plant disaster that we have to deal with on this planet, and so on, you know, so what's true changes over time from point of perspective and point of view. The main reason I don't care for religions because they're locked. They're rigid, they're monolithic, and they cannot be challenged. I can take General Motors to court. I can take Monsanto to court if I want to. And who knows? I might even win. Yeah, you know, I might even win, but can't take God to court. That don't happen. There's no way to challenge that situation. Anytime you find that you're in a place where what you're living is not able to be addressed in a way that you can actually change the outcome or have an effect on it, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong house, folks. Okay. Hey, aloha. I'll hang loose. There's a little bit about truth. Yes, loose with the truth there. Hey, and what's true is I have a little gray cat that hangs out with me here all the time when I'm shooting videos. There's Gracie over here on the table. Hey, Gracie.